So, I think it's been like 3 days already since Hillary Clinton has gone on this book tour about her book on what happened with the 2016 presidential election, and basically it's titled, well, what happened, basically. But anyway, so far I've been getting a lot of crazy things, and I am not. I haven't read the book myself. In fact, I'm not gonna plan on reading it because I despise Hillary Clinton with a passion. However, I will talk to the people. I have found some comments on or well, videos on YouTube, and especially a few comments on Amazon, relating to how terrible this book is. In fact, it's mainly a blame fest for everything that Hillary Clinton has ever done. In fact, she blames the Russians. She basically attacks Trump, kind of like from that how she calls Trump a creep for just during that debate one time, and actually being upset that a lot of people didn't and wouldn't vote for her. And she said that she wouldn't forgive people who wouldn't vote for her. But that's not the only thing that stood out in my mind. There was one thing with how she views the novel 1984, and another in terms of dang it, I had this prepared, but okay, there was 1984 and shit. I can't remember it. Maybe in the farther in this video I can remember it, but oh yeah, it's mainly about the Amazon comments. But continuing on, what she said in that video about 1984 was that she considers 1984 to be a thing about respecting authority and those figures of authority. I'm not kidding. She actually claims that. Now, for anyone who hasn't read on 1984, it was written by George Orwell, a socialist, but who happened to actually despise communism. In fact, he actually made a satire called Animal Farm, pretty much basically showing the um showing a simpler version of Soviet Russia under Joseph Stalin at the time, and he did a practically good job. In fact, I I recall reading it back in middle school for an assignment, or wait, no, not middle school. It was either junior high or high school. I don't recall. I don't recall which one it was, but I did read it nonetheless, and it was definitely very violent. And this obviously shows that despite being a democratic socialist, he despised communism and despised Joseph Stalin, as well as despising fascism. And in his book of 1984, this is basically about a protagonist who is victimized constantly by the government and by any higher ups. Hell, he's basically watched all the time, and he has to find very private places now to do whatever the hell he wants. In fact, he wants gets in a relationship with another woman, which is kind of forbidden unless you have like a um documents in order to do like sexual stuff. I don't know. I basically I just read the plot from Wikipedia. I don't really own the book, but now that I'm listening to this, I'm actually thinking about actually buying the book and reading it for myself. Now, in this novel, the protagonist, he is tortured until he accepts the party's belief, where they have this slogan, this famous slogan said as "War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength." Obviously, those three lines tell everything about the party. That's clearly oppressive in nature. And clearly, Big Brother doesn't care about his own people. He cares about holding on to control. and that includes controlling information itself. So the protagonist is tortured for so long until he has to accept the information that the party is trying to tell him. In fact, he raised his 4 hands, but he was supposed to be or more 4 fingers. But the torturer said raise his all 5 fingers, including the thumb right here. But instead he defies them by just showing 4. But as he's tortured, he later gives them 5. That shows how much he is the victim, and how much these authority figures would go in order to control information against any individual. Now, for Hillary Clinton to actually claim that this is supposed to be a good moral about being fair to basic, or well, to basically look up to leaders and stuff, it's just how the hell would she get something like that? I don't understand this woman. You would have to be a psychopath to understand this. I remember a while ago that there was although I haven't read the book, I do recall that online that there was like a specific section that I've read about the book where there was this propaganda of Oceania, which is the country our protagonist is in, is fighting another country that is a democracy called Eurasia. But this guy is being fed propaganda where this democratic superstate is actually the one committing the war. And the people who watch this just easily buy it up. And yet she calls this a morality to look up to the experts who have foreign politics experience, or well, who have info on foreign policy, on our politicians, and among other things. Hell, let me just show you, or well, no, not show you. Let me just read out to you one of the articles about what Hillary Clinton said on the book 1984. Alright, here we go. This is from Hot Air. Now, I don't know what political leaning this article is, but there are a lot of other articles that say something about this. Let's see here. Okay, it shows some posted Twitter accounts from inside Hillary's book, What Happened, and this is what it says. Attempting to find reality is a core feature of authoritarianism. This is what the Soviets did when they erased political dissidents from historical foes. That is definitely true, but that is at the same time also true concerning what Hillary Clinton has been trying to claim, that the Russians are the ones who actually helped Trump become president of the United States. Sorry, continuing on. This is what happens in George Orwell's classic novel 1984, when a torturer holds up 4 fingers and delivers electric shocks until his prisoner sees 5 fingers as ordered. This is what I was talking about. The goal is to make you question logic and reason, and to sow mistrust toward exactly the people we need to rely on. Our leaders, the press, experts who seek to guide public policy based on evidence, ourselves. For Trump, as with so much he does, it's about simple dominance. Okay, leaving out that last sentence, basically where she just bashes Trump, what brings this out is what she says. Obviously she said that the goal is to make you question logic and reason, and to sow mistrust toward our leaders. But she says, but she says that this is a bad thing, as these are the same people we need to rely on. Our leaders, press, experts, who seek to guide public policy based on evidence, and ourselves. Now, how does a person like her actually think that way? True, we need. I understand that we need to rely on leaders, basically in terms of leaderships. I mean, that much is certain, and sometimes we need to look at experts and even the press. But what if sometimes they're wrong? Sometimes they could have harboring agendas. Hell, the CNN is a liberal news network that's basically bought, well, not bought, but it's been very supportive of Hillary Clinton for the entire 2016 election and has been constantly bashing Trump. Sorry, I have something in my mouth. Continuing. Hell, they have had more negative coverage than positive coverage when it comes to the President of the United States. 93% of all coverage about President Donald Trump is negative. That's saying something. And she wants us to rely on those people? I don't think so. I'd rather have someone who tries to say both positive and negative things, both at the 50-50 scale as best as possible, than someone who just simply, who obviously has an agenda and negatively attacks people who they disagree with. From baseless accusations. That's the problem with Hillary Clinton. She doesn't understand this. She doesn't understand. This is why we don't like her. This is one of the reasons why we despise her. Not only does she constantly blame everyone, but she's also a psychopath, and she obviously believes in the different meaning of 1984 instead of how it was originally meant to be, which was meaning to be always distrust your leaders and the press and everyone at the top, and make sure you try to get information from other sources. Ask questions. Use reason and logic to defy leaders, to criticize them. Hell, even criticize President Trump on basically anything, as long as if it's within reason, with its good logic and evidence. But that's not what Hillary Clinton is doing. And even with this, I can't really undermine this. Continuing on, there has been a lot of negative comments on Amazon about basically this book, What Happened. And I've read one of them that stood out to me. This one was actually by a liberal who voted for Obama twice and actually voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. He did not like the book because this is obviously, from his perspective, what is wrong with the left as of now. Now, I've been hearing, and there's been a lot of evidence showing that Amazon has been deleting these negative references or negative reviews, so that the book would be able to gain a lot of bigger popularity. Let me check on Amazon right now and see how What Happened is doing. I wouldn't be personally surprised if anything, Shane, if it remained like a 5-star or something, but let's just see. Okay, Right, 5 stars from 814 customer reviews. Now, this is obviously a ploy in order to get as much of this book sold as possible. Hell, it's according to Amazon charts, it's considered #1 most sold. And yet there are a lot of negative reviews about it because of how much Clinton constantly bashes everybody. And in fact, some of her own fan base, some Bernie supporters, and even the Democratic Party itself. It just, I can't understand this woman. What she hoped to gain from blaming everybody? I mean, she said before that she's not gonna run for office again. So what is the frickin' point? I'm not, and honestly, I'm not thinking that her entire book sale, especially with her going around for a tour to sell this book, it's not doing really well. In fact, this is more, Democrats feel this is more of a cringy book that they don't really want, but they've been given nonetheless. And the fact that Hillary Clinton is blaming everyone, the Democratic Party, Bernie Sanders, moderate Democrats, everyone, including the DNC, the one that actually helped her to basically cheat Bernie Sanders out of the primary, she's blaming them as well. I'm willing to bet that despite the fact that Amazon chart says it's #1, it's not doing too good. I would be willing to say that's not doing too good. And you know what? I'm glad it isn't. Because you know what? Screw you, Hillary Clinton. You are a horrible candidate. And the fact that you believe this crap, like I said before, and that you've gone so far as to blame everybody who was actually on some of them on your side, is just complete and utter bullshit. And this is something that you should not ever a politician should not ever deal with. In fact, a politician should never do. And in fact, I am beyond glad that you are never going to run for election. Because if you do, you would lose again. This time, very badly. And it doesn't matter if you have a vagina. You would just lose because you're just a horrible person, a psychopath, and constantly a narcissist who just think everybody is the problem but yourself. You know what, Hillary Clinton? You're the problem. And I'm glad we don't have you as president. My name is Noah Meehan from the Arc of Truth. That is all. See ya later.